In 5.3a, we are going to continue talking about linear equations, but now we are going to look at graphing our linear equations. Now, to graph our linear equation, we have 6 steps that we're going to follow. The first step is to solve the equation for y. So this means we want to get into slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, where our m is our slope, our b is our y-intercept. Then we need to determine the slope, which is our rise over a run, or our m. So when we have it in that y equals mx plus b form, it'll be really easy to pick out what that m is. Then we need to determine the y-intercept, which will be easy to find. This should be a b right here, because we will know what our b is from our slope-intercept equation. We'll be able to know our y-intercept form. Then we are going to graph the y-intercept on the y-axis. Use the rise over run. Our rise is up and down our y-axis. Our run is left and right. Our x-axis, and then we are going to draw through the points with arrows on each end. So it'll get a little easier as we look at some examples. Let's look at the first one. So if we look at the first one, our first step is to solve the equation for y, which is already done for us. So we don't have to do that part. The next step is determine the slope. So our m is 2 over 3. And our y-intercept, which is 0, b, which is -5. Then I'm going to graph the y-intercept, step number 4, on my y-axis. So when I do that, I have 0, -5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0, -5, that's my y-intercept. Then step number 5, I'm going to use my slope, my rise over my run, from the y-intercept to get my next point. So I'm going to go from here up to 1, 2, over 3. 1, 2, 3. So now I have my 2 points on my graph. You need 2 points to create a line, so once we get those 2 points, we can connect them and put our arrows on either side. That is how we graph our linear equation. So let's try number 2. First step, get y by itself. That part's done for us, so we don't have to do it. Our slope, -1 over 5. And our y-intercept is 0, b, which is 2. Okay, then step 4, I'm going to graph the y-intercept on my y-axis. I'm going to go 0, 2, so it means I'm going to go up 2. Then my slope is -1 over 5, so that means I'm going down 1 over 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, I always start my slope at my y-axis, so I start here at my red point, then go down 1 over 5. Once I have my 2 points, I can connect them and draw my arrows. And that's it. So let's look at a few more examples. My first step is get y by itself. Again, it's already done for us, so I'm going to find my slope, which is, I have a negative, so in front of our x there is a -1, and we want to write it as a fraction so we can have our rise over run. So that would be -1 over 1. Our y-intercept is 0, b, which in this case is 3. And now I'm ready to graph. So I'm going to start with my y-intercept. 0, 3 means I'm going to go up 3. And then my slope is a -1 over 1. So I'm going to go down 1 over 1. And this is my, let's try that again. Connect my 2 points, and this is my line. Draw my arrows. Okay, number 4. Solve for y. Y is already by itself, so I'm looking for my slope and my y-intercept. Now my slope is the number that goes with x, so that would be -2, and I want to write it as a fraction, rise over run, so that would be -2 over 1. And there is no number here for my y-intercept, so that makes it 0, 0, 0. So when I graph my y-intercept, it's going to be right at the origin, 0, 0, and I've got a -2, so that means I'm going down, down 2, and over 1. And there's my answer. Okay, we've got one more example that we're going to look at. Number 5, solve for y, already done. So I've got -3 over 2 as my m. My y-intercept is 0, 2. Now, my first step next is to graph my y-intercept. So that would be 0, 1, 2, up 2. And now my slope is a -3 over 2. I'm going to go down 3, 1, 2, 3, over 2, 1, 2. Connect my points and draw my arrows. That is how we graph our linear equations.